Welcome to the conversation on the TYT network. Great guest for you guys. Now, Eastman running in Nebraska's 2nd district, now hotly contested district where Joe Biden has a good chance of winning, and Kara has a great chance of winning against the Republican incumbent. Welcome back, Kara.
Thank you. I'm so glad to be here.
No problem. Now, we have been here a number of times, and so I feel that we know you well. And that's why I was surprised to see commercials from Don Bacon Jr. calling you a radical. So I know generally they say they're gonna do that to all Democrats. It doesn't matter what your positions are. So I guess that leads to two questions. One is, how disingenuous is that coming from Don Bacon, who made a big deal out of him being civil, and that was a big calling card for him?
Yeah, it's quite a departure. I mean, in 2018, the race, there was definitely some incivility on his part, but it's gotten off the rails this time. He is the most vulnerable Republican in Congress, and I don't mean that emotionally. I mean his space is vulnerable, and so he's pulling out all the stops, and it's ridiculous to call me radical when he has voted 93% of the time with Donald Trump and is so extreme, especially for this district, which is a swing district.
Yeah, see, I wanted to ask you about that too. So I'll come back to the second part of radical ad in a second. But so he votes with Trump 93% of the time. That basically means he disagreed with a post office here or there, right? But otherwise, his name might as well be Donald Trump. If it doesn't matter what Donald Trump tweets, it matters what he does. And if you're voting with him 93% of the time, that means you're co-signing on to everything that he has actually done. And so I guess how much has that resonated in Nebraska's 2nd district, and how much does the media talk about it? Or do they let him off the hook? Because a lot of times what the media will do is, oh, Trump's the bad guy, but none of the other Republicans who vote with him overwhelmingly they're all moderates.
Yeah, unfortunately, we haven't seen much media pushback, and we've been actually fighting against this because they took something I said out of context, where I was saying, they're calling me this, and he's using it out of context in all their ads and all their mailers, and unfortunately, I don't think we've seen too much media pushback on it. But we don't find that it's resonating too much because right now I'm 3 points up in the polls.
Yeah, and so this is a super tight race last time. Kara Eastman is a Just Democrat. She ran as 2018 and 2020. And last time you barely lost by under 2 points. This time around, obviously the momentum is in your direction in fundraising, polling, you name it, right? And so that's why I asked about the media reaction, because they did a trick on you that they did on me, taking something where you were joking and then pretending you were serious. You were literally mocking them, saying, according to them, I'm a big socialist or something along those lines. And they just took the part where you said, I'm a big socialist, as if you were serious. And that's why you need the refs, Kara, right? To tell people, oh no, that's a lie. She was clearly joking. Because if the refs don't do their job, doesn't that give everyone an incentive to pretend that people were serious when they weren't, to take their stuff out of context? You could do that to Don Bacon too, right? I mean, you don't have to, because he's a Trumpy. So the things he says are naturally outrageous. But doesn't it cheapen our politics if the refs don't do their job and the media doesn't call that out for the dishonest ad that it is?
Absolutely, and I think it's one of the reasons why some of Trump's attacks on the free press have worked. And we need people to push back on this stuff, no matter what the district looks like. And we need, it really undermines the way that voters are perceived. And I'm tired of hearing that rhetoric from people like Don Bacon, that they think that he thinks his voters, he thinks his constituents or people in this district are gonna buy that stuff. Nobody says that word. I'm, a radical, like saying that way. That's crazy. Nobody talks like that, and yet he believes that the voters are not as smart as they are. And so we're putting our faith in the voters. We're putting our faith in the fact that they've gotten to know me over the past 4 years, and we're also reminding them about all the work I've done in the community that has been creating safe and healthy housing for kids, that has been creating investments in our community. I love this community so much. This is where we chose to raise our daughter. And we're just pushing back by saying, like, look, this is who I actually am. And he's painting me as a caricature of someone who doesn't exist. But the fact is, he is Trumpian. He votes with Trump. He doesn't stand up to Trump. Even our US Senator Ben Sasse recently stood up to Trump. Don Bacon is to the right of Ben Sasse, which is unbelievable.
Yeah, so Cara, you did such radical things as start the Omaha Healthy Kids Alliance. I mean, really, you're for healthy kids? That does sound outrageous. It was to stop lead poisoning, another outrageous idea to stop lead poisoning of our kids. And you helped raise more than $13 million for green, safe, and healthy housing in Omaha. Whereas Don Bacon has collected money from the NRA, which I'm given to understand that they support any and all guns and weapons, and including cop killer bullets, by the way. Boeing, which is a defense contractor and has planes falling out of the sky, and Abbott Labs, which helped addict the country to opioids. So, which one sounds a little bit more radical?
That's right. He's taken over $800,000 in corporate PAC money this cycle. He's taken over $200,000 from pharmaceutical companies, from health insurance companies, and then votes to pass legislation in their defense, right? That actually helps their bottom line. And he was notorious for voting not just yes, but I know I'm not supposed to swear, and he did it, but HELL, yes, to repeal the Affordable Care Act. This is pretty radical. This is pretty extreme. Somebody who votes against the Violence Against Women Act, against the ERA, for the Republican tax bill, against lowering prescriptions in the middle of a pandemic, and just recently voted against the HEROES Act, which embedded in it was the Restaurants Act that would have brought so much money to our district to actually help save local independent restaurants right now. That's pretty extreme.
Yeah, no, I keep focusing on that word, whether it's radical or extreme, because it's extreme to take $200,000 from a drug company in the middle of a pandemic and then vote to give people less health care because it benefits your donor. That's sick. You trying to help kids prevent lead poisoning, that's the most normal, benign, like literally that I could ever think of. And so the imbalance, and the reason I overfocus on the media is because they're the ones who create that imbalance. They should be pointing out to the American people what the real facts are, in this case, Nebraska's 2nd district. One person tried to help kids with her career. The other person tried to help drug companies because he got $200,000 to do it. I mean, it's just an absolute crime that that's not called legalized bribery. But at this point, you're actually outraising him with small dollar donations, and that's driving them nuts. So on the other hand, when it comes to dark money, they're still outspending you. There's $7 million poured in dark money. At least 4.6 million of that is in favor of Don Bacon. And so, Cara, would you still look to get money out of politics, even though you're outraising Don Bacon at this point?
Oh, absolutely. This has to be one of our biggest priorities. I mean, the system is so broken. Look at how much, in the middle of this pandemic, look at how much money is being spent on elections. It makes me sick that when I am used to raising money for good things, for investments in healthy housing for kids, but instead we're having to raise money to combat the despicable things, the lies that are being spread about me. We absolutely have to work on getting money out of politics. There's no question about it.
So you mentioned Ben Sasse. I want to go to him because he had really harsh words for Trump. He said he was kissing the butts of dictators. He said that he was treating the presidency like a business opportunity for his family, i.e. that he is corrupt and that he was flirting with white supremacists. So now that's from a really right-wing senator in Nebraska. That leads me to think, Kara, that even SAS is worried about statewide in Nebraska, showing you the amount of damage done by Trump to the Republican Party. And secondly, it seems like it's embarrassing to Don Bacon that he can't even go 10% of the way there, even though he's in the most moderate district in Nebraska.
Right. I mean, it's surprising that Don Bacon has refused to stand up to Trump the way that he has, and frankly, it's immoral, and in no way does it represent this district. Don Bacon has been very clear that he represents the people who voted for him. This is a split district. The Republican advantage has shrunk quite a bit. About a quarter of the district are registered independents. And frankly, as a Democrat here, I'm tired of my representatives telling me they don't represent me.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I got no interest in any representative of any party representing Abbott Labs instead of their constituents. And when he pretends to be a moderate, he's faking bacon, if you will. And when he pretends to represent the constituents, again, he's faking bacon. So, Kara, we gotta go, but I need everybody to realize EastmanForCongress.com is where you can go if you wanna help Kara keep kicking Don Bacon's ass on fundraising and volunteers. And the reason why, guys, is so important, we'll have these links down below if you're watching later on YouTube or Facebook, is because Kara would win in what used to be a red district. A progressive winning in a red or purple district is of enormous importance to show that progressives can do better than corporate Democrats in districts like that. And that's why Kara's race really has massive national importance. So, Kara, thank you again for joining us. We really appreciate it.
Thank you, I appreciate you. Take care.
You too.
Two easy ways to follow the Young Turks. One is hit the subscribe button down below, then you're a TYT subscriber. And second is ring the bell. And when you do that on YouTube, you're notified of our videos.